If you didn't know by now, I go to McMaster University. Our university is famous for its health science centers, on-campus hospital, and medical school. We're supposed to be a school full of intelligent people. Unfortunately, it appears like we're not so intelligent after all. So recently, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, a professor at psychology at the University of Toronto, went to McMaster to talk about free speech and political correctness. Jordan was invited to McMaster by fellow free speech advocates, so a crowd of people came to listen to what he had to say. There was also a crowd of university snowflakes who came there just to shut down the event.
I do really take exception to the idea that there's a particular group or groups that I'm opposed.
The reason why these university-educated snowflakes are protesting against Jordan Peterson is because they think he's transphobic. They disagree with his stance on Bill C-16, which is making its way through Canadian Parliament. Bill C-16 is an act to amend the Canadian Criminal Code so as to add gender identity and gender expression to a list of protected people. It uses the power of the state through the criminal code to force people, like Jordan B. Peterson, to use their desired pronouns. If you don't use the pronouns that they want you to use, you can face jail time or get even fired, especially if you're a government employee, like Jordan B. Peterson is. Jordan B. Peterson doesn't want to use their made-up pronouns. He doesn't want to talk like they do. Even if he did, he still doesn't want language being forced upon the public by the state. He, as do I, believe in free speech and expression for everyone and every idea. But sadly, my own fellow McMaster students and classmates disagree.
Trans rights are human rights! 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 This is stolen land! This is stolen land! This is stolen land! This is stolen land! This is stolen land!
Those whose voices are not being listened to are actually members of the transsexual community that happen to agree with me.
Actual trans person speaking on behalf of trans people. Fuck this. No speech for transphobic bigots.
It's actually the case that a single transsexual person can't speak for transsexual people, no more than a single white person can speak for white people.
So before Jordan could say anything, you have people in the back screaming through megaphones and banging on cowbells and drums and yelling obscenities at him. They also took the giant banner and stood in front of Jordan B. Peterson. So not only did all the noise drown him out, they also didn't want people to see him. Like, they're so against Jordan, they want him to be invisible.
This is where we draw the line. This is where we draw the line. This is where we draw the line.
The event ended up closing down. Jordan went outside and made a powerful speech to the members of the audience that wanted to hear him speak. My hat goes off to you, Jordan B. Peterson, for keeping your cool the entire time and letting your conscience be the guide to your actions. It could have ended horribly if you or anyone else acted aggressive or violent. Regardless, what happened at my university of McMaster was shameful, but it's certainly not surprising or new. I'm a member of a pro-life club at my university. It's called McMaster Lifeline. At my first year at McMaster Lifeline, I was doing something called club tabling. It's basically where you sit at a table and advertise that your club exists, and that if you want to talk or join the club or you want to have a chat with me, I'm open to chat. Me and two other girls at our club mostly talk to students all day about abortion and euthanasia, and we managed to convince some students the legitimacy of the pro-life position. Sadly though, a group of people came to our table, knocked down posters, ripped up flyers, and then told me and my friends, who happened to both be girls, that we were all sexist. They made signs telling us to go fuck ourselves. A similar thing happened again that same year, my first year. Our pro-life club wanted to host an event to talk about the biomedical ethics of abortion, and lo and behold, leftist activists came to our event and tried to shut it down. They yelled at us, they picked fights with us and the speakers we invited to our event. We eventually had to call hospital security and then the police on them since we hosted this small, low-key event on our on-campus hospital and health science building. That's right, we called the police near our McMaster's Children's Hospital. The point I'm getting at is that all this chaos and violence we're seeing isn't new. You're not alone, Jordan B. Peterson. Every time someone, even students, want to share their opinions that differs from radical leftists, these snowflakes, these ideologues, erupt in chaos and violence. It happened to Milo Yiannopoulos in Berkeley.
You can see the crowd is starting to heed that warning, and they are running.
They are moving people back some more. They've opened the blinds inside the building to show that on the second level that there's no one there. There are police officers on that balcony.
It happened to Ben Shapiro.
Decency! 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 Decency!
Fuck white supremacy! This is our university! Fuck white supremacy! This is our university! Fuck white supremacy! This is our university!
It happened to Charles Murray.
Charles Murray, go away! Racist, sexist, anti-gay! Charles Murray, go away! Your message is hatred! We cannot tolerate it! Your message is hatred! We cannot tolerate it! Your message is hatred! We cannot tolerate it! Your message is hatred! We cannot tolerate it!
And now it's happened to Jordan B. Peterson at my university of McMaster, just like it happened to me and the girls at our pro-life club. Just as we were silenced at McMaster, or at least we were trying to be silenced, as students, you were silenced, Jordan B. Peterson. And I think you explained it perfectly well why you and I were both silenced.
As far as I've been able to determine, this kind of protest is an expression of a philosophy that's grounded partly in postmodernism and partly in Marxism. Now, the postmodern element is basically this. There's no such thing as genuine individual identity. What there is group identity. And you, like it or not, only have the interests of your group. And the whole world is nothing but a battleground between groups of different interests. There's no dialogue. There's no possibility of talking between the groups. It's just a power stage where combat has to take place. And so the reason that speakers with whom the radical postmodernists and the Marxists don't agree are denied a platform is because those people do not believe from a philosophical position that dialogue can bring consensus. And all that's left if you forego that particular principle is this. And this is only where it starts. You know, the fact is that you're all pretty damn civilized. And thank God for that. Because if there were enough fools in the crowd, especially those who are intent on violence, this would turn out very differently. Right. And we do not want to go down that pathway. It's a big mistake. We've been down that pathway many, many times.
As Jordan B. Peterson explained, the reasons why all of this occurs is due to postmodernist and Marxist thought, convincing people that nearly everything in the world is relative, and all that matters is our personal identities, whether or not those are even real. Therefore, the world is about power struggles. To them, the world is not about bringing people together or coming to a consensus or even changing of people's opinions. Instead, the world is about personal identity. That's why when we pro-lifers like myself, we talk to people who are pro-choicers, who are more leftist and radical ideologues, they attack me and who I am. They don't want to engage in consensus and they don't want to engage in dialogue. When everything, even your own made-up concepts, is all you value in this world, what else do you have left? If all you care about is the fact that you're a woman or you're a black, is it any surprise then that these speakers at these events sometimes get shut down? Well, not really. These people are sick, and it's leftists that have poisoned them. They, the universities, have indoctrinated an entire generation of young people to be against freedom. In fact, upwards to 40 to 50% of young people agree with censoring, quote, offensive speech. I used to call myself a liberal, and I was happy calling myself a liberal. In fact, in most issues, I lean left. But I can't call myself a liberal anymore when this is what they largely represent. They think that the best way to change the world, to make it better, isn't to talk about important issues through dialogue or to come to consensus or to change people's opinions, but instead to demonize the other side and try to shut them down. They don't believe in the freedom of speech and expression, socially and legally too. And it doesn't seem like this problem will go away. Needless to say, I'm ashamed at my university at McMaster. I'm ashamed over what has occurred. And I'm pretty sure one of my TAs was in the crowd of protesters playing the cowbell, so all the more reason to be disappointed and ashamed. Again, hats off to you, Jordan B. Peterson, for coming to McMaster and speaking the truth to people who desperately, desperately need to hear it. Also, hats off to the people who came there to listen to him. You are a sign of a brighter future in the Western world. I'm going to give Jordan B. Peterson the last word. He deserves it. I'm Jay Feza from the Rebel.media.
The question was, had we called the police and had them removed, would have that been a failure? And I think the answer to that is, there's no point in it, right? There's no reason to assume that this is a bad thing. It's noisy and it's annoying, but that's fine. You gotta you gotta follow what you believe to be true, right? And don't worry about it, and then let things happen and see what happens, because it's perfectly possible that if you're trying to do the right thing, and you're trying to speak properly, that whatever happens around you is a partial consequence of that, and that it's a good thing. So we'll see. We'll have weeks after this event to analyze its consequences, and so far, all of those of you that are there to listen to me talk, you're peaceful and reasonable, and you got a chance to show that to hundreds of thousands of people. So good! This is a good thing, not a bad thing.
If you enjoyed this video and want to continue the fight for freedom of speech on university and college campuses, like and subscribe to this channel.